dish is going to be sopa de feijão. So sopa de feijão is an Angolan dish. It translates to bean soup from Portuguese to English, and the reason it's called that is because it's got beans as its base, and in a few minutes you will see what I mean by that. But it doesn't just have beans, it has meat, it has carbs, it has your vegetables. Now separated, I know it looks a little bit clunky, looks a little bit messy, but trust me, when you put it together, yeah, it is so delicious. That's why I'm telling you, yeah, this is one of my favorite recipes. Like, I used to love when my mom made it growing up. We don't eat it all the time, but since it's January, you know, it's still cold, it's still winter, but why not make soup? You know, it is a soup, so why not make soup to kind of get through the last month of winter before we head into spring. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making it. The recipe and the specific ingredients will be in the description box as well, but if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment box. And yeah, make sure you like the video, share with your friends, let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll see you along the way. So I'm gonna show you guys the ingredients that we have. So here is the star of our show, the beans. I cooked them this morning because I didn't have tinned beans, but use tinned beans because honestly it saves you, like this was like an hour and 20 minutes to cook it from scratch. If you're going to use tinned beans, you can use two cans or 2 tins of rose cocoa beans or pinto beans. I'm not necessarily sure, there's so many types of beans, but brown beans anyways. Then we have our meat, which is our beef. So I just bought this beef from the Asian store, the butcher section from there. To be honest, I don't even know what I was asking for because I'm not really like, you know, when I buy meat, I just go to Lidl and I just buy the one in the package. But like the ones from the butcher, it's like my mom who knows all that stuff. She'll know what exact cuts you need for what exact recipe. But I have some beef with bone in it, some beef without bones, and I removed the fat and I cut them up. The ones with bones were cut up by the butcher, but the ones that were like no bones, I cut that up myself, and it was semi-frozen yesterday night. So yeah, then we have chorizo. This is so delicious, like it's an important part of our recipe. I have cabbage here. So I just have 2 sweetheart cabbage. So yeah, you can use white cabbage as well, but make sure you get the dark green one as well. So if you're gonna use white cabbage, you use like half white cabbage and then like some of this dark green one as well. I have carrots. You can use 2 large carrots. Since these are kind of like small medium, I'm using 3. I have some bay leaves and nutmeg. I have powdered nutmeg, but I don't know where it is, so I can't be bothered to search for it. So I'm just using this one here. I have some tinned tomatoes. You can use like actual tomatoes if you want to, about 2 just chopped up. I have an onion. I have my garlic. You can see that. Some salt, some all-purpose seasoning. You can use chicken stock if you'd like to for the water that we'll be adding in. And then we have our pasta. We have some rice here as well. I just grabbed a handful for the pasta. I grabbed a handful as well if you want exact measurements. I think I measured it to about 50 grams just for you guys, but like I said, I don't really measure it when I use it. And I think that's it. If there's anything else, I will let you guys know that it isn't out here. And yeah, we'll get started. That's everything we need. Okay guys, I have the beef here and I washed it and put a bit of vinegar. So now we are going to cook it. So before we do that, we're just going to season it a bit. So I have some all-purpose seasoning here. I'm just going to put like a teaspoon. To be honest, you don't need that much because it is obviously going to go into the soup, which is also going to be seasoned as well. So that's about enough. And for those wondering, I have about 1 kilo of beef here. I kind of wish I got a bit more. I was rushing when I was buying it, but we'll see. It might be just enough, but I feel like I should have got another ½ kilo. And this is some garlic that I just pounded. I don't know what you call this, pestle and mortar, but yeah, this is some garlic that I just crushed up with a little bit of salt. So I'm just gonna put that in there. And yeah, we can just put that in there, make sure that all the beef gets a bit of seasoning and some garlic. So once that's done, I'm putting in a little bit of water, not too much. Just, it's kind of gonna steam, to be honest. So I'm just gonna add that in there. This is cold. Yeah. Because the beef is gonna release its own water as well, so that's why you don't want to put too much. So if anybody's looking for exact measurements, I would say probably like 100 milliliters. So I'm gonna cook that on about medium high heat. So if your oven goes from 1 to 6, I'm gonna put it on a 4. And I'm just gonna cover that up and we'll leave that there and we'll get started on our beans. And we're back. So here we are, onto the beans. Our beef is still cooking away. We're gonna blend the beans. A bit weird, but kind of have to. As I said, the beans is the base of our soup, so we have to blend the beans. If you don't want to use a blender like this, if you have a hand blender, you can also do that as well. I'm gonna insert a video of how I made this right about now. So here we have 500 grams of dried beans, cleaned and removed all the bad ones, and I'm adding in 1.5 liters of water. You can add all the liters of water from the start, just the pot wasn't a bit big enough to handle like 2.5 liters, because I do end up adding more. So this is after 45 minutes. I'm just giving it a bit of a stir. I then add more water here. I add about 500 milliliters, which you're about to see just now. So after adding 500 milliliters, I let that boil again, and then just before the 1 hour 20 minute mark, I think at around 1 hour, I add another 500 and let that boil away. The total time is about 1 hour and 20 minutes. And we're back. So yeah, let's get started on blending up the beans. Oh guys, I completely forgot to mention, I actually would have forgotten myself, save a few beans. Don't actually blend all the beans because you're going to put a few in your soup. It's just nice, you know, just for texture wise when you bite into a bean or two. So that's why I save a few. Even if they're all like mushed up, it's fine. So yeah, let me see how much I've saved here. So I'm not going to add all of them up, and I'm going to kind of like press into them a little bit later. So I think I will save, actually, I don't even know, to be honest. Like I said, when I cook, I just kind of go with the flow. Yeah, I think this is a bit, I think it's a bit too much to say. Yeah, like save about that much. So I don't know, maybe 100 grams? No, less than 100 grams to be honest. But it's cooked 100 grams. It's different to dry grams. But whatever that looks like to you, save that amount. Think of like a mini bowl, put it in there. Because we're going to put it inside our soup. Okay, now that we've filled them up, we're going to go ahead and blend our beans. I added some water, as I said, and yeah. Okay, we finished blending. I added a bit of water because it looked like it was struggling. I think because the heaviness of the beans, that's probably why. So I'm just going to pour this out and we will start straining it. That we have left, I'm just gonna crush some of them because I don't want it to be like alright. I don't know if you can see me, but now we're done with the beans. We are going to chop our vegetables up for our chorizo, and you're gonna find the biggest pot you can find in the house. I'm gonna show you in a moment. And that's what we're going to put everything in together. My beef is almost done. I'm just going to take a look at that and show you guys the result of the beef, and we're going to get to chopping the vegetables. So this is, excuse me, this is a half a piece of nutmeg. So I think I'm just gonna grate it till it's down to a quarter. So I just found it like this. So think of like maybe half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, so there we are. Now that's what it looks like. And here we have, I would say this is probably about a teaspoon then. I actually missed the bowl. If you want, you can actually just grate it into the soup when you have everything in there, so that way you're not wasting it, because I'm probably not going to scrape this up, but it's alright. So we have a nutmeg. I'm going to put it here so you guys can see, hopefully. I just took the garlic out of their skin. So now I am going to put them in the garlic crusher. These two were quite big chunky pieces, so I just cut them in half. Otherwise it's 4, or you could use 6 small ones or just 3 or 4 big ones. Like I said, I like a lot of garlic, like a lot. And plus with the crusher, like it kind of leaves the skin, the outer layer behind. So that's why I do a lot, so it's not missing out. I'm just going to put it in the same place as the onions, to be honest. Now I am just working on the cabbage. I'm gonna cut it away, but first I just want to wash them. So I have my leaves lined up like this. So with the cabbage, you don't chop them really finely or anything. Let me see. There's not really like a specific way. They should just be like not too big, like this, maybe like this in quarters. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. But like you don't want to put them too small. So I'm just gonna put them down the middle like this. And then I think I'll cut it in 3 sections here. So yeah, you want kind of pieces like this. Not too big, but not too small. Put them in the bowl. And then I'm gonna also use this middle section as well. Okay, I'm gonna leave this much for the second cabbage. I don't think you need the full 2 cabbages. Like I said, I'm just kind of going with the flow. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave this part for the second cabbage. I don't think you need the full 2 cabbages. So if you want to just use 1, that's what 1 full cabbage looks like. That should be enough, but like I said, cabbage does sink or shrink. Cabbage does shrink, so that's why I add a lot, and it's like a main ingredient of the soup as well. Finally, we're on to our chorizo. So guys, our prep work is done. We have our chorizo, onion, garlic, carrot, nutmeg, beef. I'll show you what the beef looks like cooked, but that's it there. And it has its own liquid as well, which you can also use as stock as a part of the soup as well. I'm not going to, but you can if you want to. We have our chopped in tomatoes. Oops. As I said, I'm using 3/4. You can also just use 2 tomatoes if you want to, and it'll have the same effect. Our bay leaves are there. Seasoning, salt and all-purpose seasoning. That's all you really need. If you want to add other stuff like thyme and stuff like that, you can. Our rice and our spaghetti. I'm going to add these later on, not straight away, because I noticed last time when I cooked it, it does get really soft because the soup might have to cook for 40 minutes. So, you know, you wouldn't really normally cook rice or spaghetti in 40 minutes. You'd cook it in like 10-15 minutes. So in the last 15-20 minutes is when I'll put it in. Oh yeah, and we have our bean. So as I'm saying, when I was blending and straining and stuff, I had to add a lot of water to make it easier because the beans themselves is quite heavy. You know, it's not like vegetables and stuff. It's quite heavy. So altogether, there is 1.8 liters here. I'll let you know how much I use. I do plan on using all of it, but don't worry about, okay, when you were blending and stuff like that, you don't have the exact same amount as me, because like I said, you end up adding water. You end up adding more water or, you know, stock when you're making the soup, because obviously it's a soup, like you have to have more liquid than food in there. But I have 1.8, so if you have less than that, you can just add more water to have 1.8 liters, so that you know that you're on the same track as me. Because when I do it, I'll just know, like, okay, I'm adding water up to a certain point. And this is our pot here. It has oil. The oil is actually really hot. So this is the biggest pot, unfortunately, that we have. It's 5 liters. It actually has like a measuring thing in there that shows. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fry up the onion and garlic, and I'm gonna fry the chorizo. You actually don't have to. This is the type of recipe where you can put everything in there at the same time. All the vegetables, the sauce, the tomato. Just let it cook away and then just stir and check for seasoning. But I do just want to fry the chorizo just because I think, you know, it'll give it that bit of crispiness that I kind of like, but you don't have to. Like I said, you can actually just throw everything in at the same time. You don't even need to like fry onion and stuff like that. I just want to do that. Guys, I started putting everything in the pan and I realized I didn't even show yous. Oh my gosh, the camera wasn't on. No, this is so annoying. You know what? Look, it's not the end of the world. Okay. So, as I was saying, after having a breakdown, I realized I was not filming when I was showing everything that I put in the pan. This is so annoying. I put so much effort into this video, I'm not giving up now. Basically, I put in the onions and the chorizo, I fried them off with the garlic, and then I put in the carrots and the tomato and the nutmeg, and I put in the cabbage. It actually looks like a lot of cabbage, I'm not gonna lie. And I put in the bean sauce as well. So I'm just in the process of adding water until I realized that, yeah. So like I said, guys, you actually need a really big pot. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have used so much cabbage, but like I said, it does shrink down or become soft. So this is about 600 liters, sorry, not liters, milliliters of water here. So let's just say that was about 800 milliliters of water. I'm just gonna put some salt. Honestly, I don't have a specific measurement for the salt, but I don't know, let's say a tablespoon. So we're just seasoning, so I just put in a bit of salt there. You're gonna end up adding more salt because this is a lot of liquid if you think about it, so the seasoning doesn't really like get there. But for now, we're just gonna start off with 2 teaspoons of all-purpose seasoning. Just let it do its thing. It looks weird now, I know, but give it some time. I'm just gonna turn the heat up to 5. So yeah, that is it. Like I said, everything is in there, even the bean pieces as well. I didn't add all of it, so let's just say about a handful of bean pieces is in there. The cabbage, the beef, the tomato. I was saying that I added half the tin of tomato, not a quarter, not 3/4. I think half is fine, or even a quarter is fine, because you don't want it to taste too tomatoey. And the nutmeg and some salt and the all-purpose seasoning. We're gonna let that cook now for about 20 minutes. Then we're gonna come back and check. Oh yeah, don't forget your bay leaves. I have 3 because they're small, but if you have like really big intact ones, then just use 1 or 2. So yeah, we're gonna let that do its thing for about 20 minutes. Then we're gonna come back. As you can see, the soup is starting to come together. Still a long way to go. You don't need to stir too much. I'm just trying to show you everything. I also added a little bit of salt from this point onwards. So as you saw, I added 2 teaspoons of the all-purpose seasoning, and like I'd say a tablespoon of salt. I added some more salt as well because like this is a big pot. From this point onwards, just season to your taste. Don't over season it. Let it cook first, and then if you feel like, okay, I actually need to add a bit more salt, then do that, because you don't want to add too much salt and then you can't actually take it back, especially a pot of food this big. But yeah, season it to your taste. If you feel like this is enough seasoning, it's well flavored, then that's fine. If you feel like you need to add a bit more salt, do that after like 20 minutes or so. So yeah, I'm gonna let that cook away. We'll come back in another 15 minutes and then we'll add in the spaghetti and the rice. So I just reduced the heat. I gave it a bit of a stir. As you see, everything is coming together well. The cabbage has reduced, so I no longer regret that amount of cabbage. I think that was fine. I was just a bit worried that it was too much for the pot, but it seems to be fine. You want to be able to see like an equal amount of cabbage, meat, and other stuff as well. Okay, so I reduced the heat. It was on 5. I just put it down to 4 just because it's splattering everywhere. It's coming together well. It's been about over 20 minutes now. It is still a bit thin, but don't worry. So now we're gonna add in the rice. This is gonna thicken it up as well. So just a handful of rice and the spaghetti. You can add it like this, or you can cut it. I'm gonna cut it. I know that breaks some Italians' hearts, but oh well. So just give that a stir. Make sure it's all in there. So I think this is fine. If you want to give the sides a bit of a clean, I think I'm going to do that. Just make sure that the oven is also clean as well. And let that go on for just like another 20 minutes or so. 15-20 minutes should be ready. Okay guys, so the soup is finally ready. So this is what it looks like. I'm just giving it one final stir just so you can see everything. It came together really well, so you can see the cabbage really shrunk down. And the beef, the chorizo, the carrot, everything came out. So now that's all that's left to do is plate it up. My dad's really hungry, so I'm gonna give him first serving, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. What do you think of it?
Very nice. Those are the best.
Yeah.
Sopa. Sopa.
Hey guys, filming the outro here. So I didn't get the video of me eating or tasting the food because I was so hungry. I forgot about all of that. The food was delicious. We all went in for seconds. I hope you guys liked my parents' reaction. They were quite funny, but they really liked it. And yeah, I'm really sorry again about the middle section not showing myself putting the stuff in the pot. I promise that would have probably been about 30 seconds anyways. Like I said, the prep is actually the most work, and after as well, looking out for it. But I hope my verbal explanations were able to help. And if you have further questions, put them in the comment section and I will answer any of your comments. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have suggestions for other videos or other recipes you'd like to see, I totally don't mind doing them as well and exploring that. Have a good day and thanks for watching.